So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Let us recap. After spending weeks away from Orlustran repairing their airship that the crew discovered in the Storm Song Mountains, they found themselves in the foothills near the Siltwood, meeting with Aidy and Mira's father, Varric. But soon wound up face to face with some of the Nostromo, specifically Ejorin and a couple of his red cloaks. The ambush that resulted from that was swift and quite brutal, but after the hard-fought battle, our friends emerged victorious, with Ejorin slain and an almost permanent transmutation of Sisk and Violet to stone narrowly avoided. Needing some answers, they turned on Varric, pressing him as to what exactly was happening in Orlustran, and he shared some somewhat dark revelations about the growing revolt taking place in the city, as well as some of the Nostromo's, we'll call it, grip on society tightening. The conversation was tense, but it gave them a sense of the gravity of the situation. There was also some measure of concern over plans that Varric and Kalea had been working on to deal with the Nostromo, as well as some concern over an inability to contact Kalea, Twin's mother. Not long after that tough-fought battle, Phelan sent message of a dire warning. The Nostromo had found the airship. And without wasting a moment, Varric used a magical artifact in his possession to propel everyone up the mountains, transforming them into gusts of wind. This transformation allowed their ascent to take mere hours instead of days, and they soon found themselves looking down upon the site of their airship. But it was not as it had been left. You see, the Nostromo had overrun everything and were inspecting the ship carefully. Before the crew could formulate a plan to deal with this invasion, Chokran revealed himself, a powerful wizard within the Nostromo who had a personal connection to some of the individuals present. And his cold voice echoed across the mountains as he confronted them, displaying his immense power and control of magic, and with a grim smile revealed that he had long suspected Aidy and Mira's parents of plotting against the Nostromo. He tossed a bloodied and beaten Kalea onto the ground at the feet of her daughters, and without hesitation unleashed a terrible spell, disintegrating her before their very eyes. What followed, however, was a surge of otherworldly energy that no one could have anticipated. Aidy, overcome with grief and rage, manifested an ethereal energy unlike anything anyone had ever seen, except, perhaps, the target of Aidy's rage. Chokran, floating in the skies, stunned, whispered the words, "Aetherborn," before he was obliterated by an immense force of Aidy's unleashed power. As we come back into the scene, the air hangs heavy with the aftermath of destruction. A charged silence grips the mountain. All eyes are fixed upward where Aidy still hovers, wreathed in swirling iridescent power. The manifested stars above her twist and turn unnaturally, glowing against the blackened sky as if the very fabric of reality has been stretched thin. The last fragments of Chokrin, obliterated by Aidy's unleashed rage, drift slowly through the air, disintegrating like ashes in the wind. His imposing staff, crowned with the fiery red gem, is the last of him, really, tumbling down through the sky, falling through the air before landing and skittering across the ship's deck. But not even that sound can turn everyone away from the shock that grips them. As Aidy floats above, her form wreathed in this powerful energy, the sky behind her a vast expanse of stars and darkness, she is like something else, untouchable. Her silhouette wrapped in the remnants of her power, her eyes glowing with the echoes of it, are distant and unfocused. It's as though she's looking at something beyond this world, something none of you can see. Inside, Aidy is spiraling. Her body hums with energy, every nerve ablaze with a force too immense for her to fully comprehend. The grief of losing her mother still rages within her, clashing with the surge of magic running through her veins. The pain is unbearable. And yet, so is this power. Each beat of her heart sends another pulse of raw energy out into the world, shaking her to the core. Somewhere within this chaos, deep inside her mind, a voice begins to break through. It's soft at first, a gentle echo cutting through this storm of emotions. She can barely hold on. Her emotions, powerful, riling, and yet there's the voice. Familiar, gentle, but filled with urgency. Aidy. It's like a person reaching through the chaos with an outstretched hand. Aidy, please come back. But Aidy is lost within her own mind as the world around her flickers and fades. Beth. As the world around Aidy fades, the black sky, the stars, the swirling energy, all of it blends into darkness, swallowed by a kind of stillness. You breathe in deeply and to open your eyes. You're back in your childhood room. The familiar walls seem to stretch up around you. The soft scent of home fills the air, lavender and old books, comforting in a way that always made you feel that this space was safe. The sound of distant thunder and conversation seeps through the walls, muffled but present. Your bed is here, warm and soft, its blankets piled up high, and before you realize it, you're under the covers, hiding yourself from the world outside. Hidden away, trying to shut it out, you sit there, the muffled sounds of the distant dinner party echoing beyond the walls, the chatter of voices blending into a strange, disorienting hum. You can feel it. The emotions of everyone deep within the house pressing in upon you. Their joy, their irritation, their excitement, it's too much. All of it crashes over you like a wave, raw and unfiltered, suffocating in its intensity. You clamp your hands over your ears, trying desperately to shut it all out, but it won't stop. The emotions creep through every crack, every seam, crawling into your mind and making you feel things that aren't yours to feel. Above you, small glowing orbs, tiny spheres of light float aimlessly in the air. They drift around the room chaotically, reflecting what is inside you. As they flicker and bob, mirroring the swirling storm of emotions that you are trying so hard to contain. You can feel yourself slipping. Everything is slipping, and the fear of losing control tightens around your chest. Then through the haze of fear, you hear it again. Her voice. Aidy. Eliana's words cut through the noise, sharper now, more urgently. Aidy, listen to me. You feel her presence before you see her, calm, yet filled with a kind of desperation. Eliana hovers next to your bed, her elbows and forearms resting upon the bedding next to you, her fists clenched tightly as if to hold herself back from reaching out to you. Her gaze is locked in on you. Her face is calm, but her eyes are wide with concern. Aidy, I need you to listen. I know you're scared. Please, come out from the covers. Her words are firm, but there's something else beneath them, a fear, an urgency. You can feel it in her voice, even though she's doing everything she can to stay as calm as possible. I can't reach you if you stay here, Aidy. You have to let me in. You have to trust me. This power, it's going to tear you apart if you don't come back, please. Beth, what do you do?
I'll stick my head out from under the covers and look at her. Where's Mira?
She can't see you here. This is not where you should be, Aidy. I know you're scared. You're not alone. I'm here. I'm right here with you. But we cannot stay here. You will become lost. Please. As you look at her, you can see the fear, the genuine fear in her voice and face. You can't feel that fear, though. Everything is overwhelming you at this point. You feel everything and anything, and it's impossible to pick out the emotions that are concentrating on you. It's impossible to pick them out as to which ones belong to Eliana.
It's too much. It's too much here, it's too much there.
Oh, I know it is. I know, but you have faced fear before, Aidy. You can get through this, please. Don't get lost now.
I don't know what I did. I don't know what that was. I don't know if I can... What if I go back and it's all different?
It will be. It will, of course, be different. What happened, you will change. You will be different. Everyone else will be different. But this power, you cannot let it define you. You can't let it take control of you.
What happens if I stay here?
And you will become lost, and the power will consume you. And through your body, I don't know what it will do.
So staying here doesn't guarantee the safety of my friends?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
What he called you. Aetherborn. That's something far beyond most people's understanding, Aidy.
Do you understand it?
You see her wincing in pain as if trying to will herself to possess the knowledge that she once knew. You can see clearly how much she wants to tell you yes. But she says, no, I don't know everything. I know that what you manifest comes from the ethereal. It comes from another plane. It comes as if you are breaking down planar barriers and wringing it into the material. I know how dangerous that is.
I'll go with you. But I remember this night. Is my mom here?
I don't know. This is your memory, Aidy. This is where you fled. Whatever part of you was trying to get away from that power, it wanted you. It led you here. I don't know why that would be.
Maybe I can see her one more time before we go.
If we linger for too long, don't know what will happen.
So there's not time?
This is up to you, Aidy. You're in control here well more than I am. I'm just trying to make sure you don't get lost.
She will hop up from the bed and go over to the door. And at first, I'll reach for it as if I'm going to burst out there and try to find who I'm looking for. But I'll stop and just press my ear against the door and try to push past the noise of what I'm feeling and listen for just a hint of her voice or her laugh or someone saying her name.
Do me a favor and make a charisma saving throw, please. And also, while you're doing that, shout out to Varl for the bits, as well as a hail from Jeremy for you, Beth. So everyone has an advantage, and Beth, you have 2 right now. And I think if I saw correctly, we had a raid, did we not? Was there a raid, or am I?
Yes, from Little Bones.
Oh, Little Bones. Thank you so much, Little Bones. We love. What'd you get? Sorry, you were muted. I still can't hear you. Nope. Did you accidentally press the button on your mic? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Reggie.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Wonderful. I got a 26. And yes, Andrew, I did say shitballs.
With the 26, there's a brief moment where you can hear laughter coming from the other room. Not sure if it's your mother's or not. You're trying to remember what happened this night, and it's not clicking in your mind as to everything that happened. You remember how horrible everything felt, and that's kind of what dominates you in your memory. But then the laughter rings out again, and you can feel the emotions of your mother through the noise. You can feel how much she's there supporting your father, trying to put on a brave face for all of the people gathered, trying to be that idyllic wife and mother through terrible pressure in the life of someone in the ranks of the clergy with a family.
It's too much. So I will turn around and walk to Eliana.
As you start to
Let's go.
walk towards Eliana, there's a knock at the door. You turn around and look, and you see it creak open. And a very young Mira pokes her head in the door.
I saved you the frosting for my cake.
And as she says that, you feel this surge of power within you. You look around, and in a blink, you find yourself floating once again above your companions. The darkness surrounding you, this horrific ethereal energy coursing through your veins. You feel the rage, the chaos, the destruction. You feel it all hit you like a wave, and you are present again, and you are looking down and staring at Mira. Deb, could you describe for everyone what Mira is feeling and what Mira looks like as she looks up at her sister? And while you do that, I will be right back because I can't see Ian.
Mira is feeling a lot of fear. She is just really hyper-focused on Aidy and trying to figure out how she can call Aidy back to herself.
Beth, what's Aidy doing or feeling as she has experienced all of that and finds herself back in the present?
And she feels like herself.
To the extent that she can.
Cool.
In that moment, where she had lost herself to her rage and power. She can still feel all of that, but she feels more controlling now, or at least attempting to wrest control of herself once again.
Mira would feel the very distinct pull away from their bond. It's too much for her. It would be way too much for Mira. So you can feel that disconnect. But she locks eyes with you, and even having shut the bond down, you know.
Aidy can
is
feel like a tapping against the bond. Not insistently, but just a reminder that Mira's there and we'll be waiting.
What's everyone else doing in the aftermath of this chaos?
I don't know what the heck. What the scud is happening? Now that I see Aidy has come to her senses, I'm going to shout that. What the fuck is it? The equivalent of fuck, which I don't think is scud. I think there's a other thing. What the fuck was that?
She's still manifesting her power, by the way. For all of you guys, you can still see the darkness around her. Mm-hmm. Yes. This is for you guys, this is mere seconds after Aidy destroyed, just obliterated Chokrit.
I mean, nothing else then.
I think Violet is just in shock. She just saw two people get disintegrated in front of her. I feel like she's just in total shock and almost probably really, really, really afraid.
You start to shift to the side a bit, and you're able to kind of glance down at the scene below you. For what it's worth, you still feel that Aidy is a threat in this moment. All of you would feel that to probably varying degrees, but I will warrant you that you can glance down and you can see that the clergy that were present are scattering. They are fleeing in abject terror and horror at what is happening above. Hang on one second. I'm going to help out Bleak here. Bleak, chat is currently saying that Ian is muted. I think what you're going to need to do for that is... actually, wait. Hang on. Oh, no, I can't do that. I can't do it on my end. Crap. You're probably going to need to do a refresh of Ian's browser source. Or maybe, Ian, you could refresh. And that might pick it up in Christian's OBS. Sorry, guys. We're having a few tech issues here tonight. Told you you were gonna cry, Beth.
Yeah, no shit.
What a shocker.
And now I have to refresh my page so that I can see Ian again.
Chat, can you hear me? Can you hear? No? They can?
Question is in chat.
Awesome.
Yay.
He's disappeared from me, so I'm gonna have to refresh now. So.
Yeah.
You know what, you guys? I'm just gonna go take a nap. How about that?
Don't leave us.
That's all right.
Gonna go lay my head down and go to sleep. It's for you, Robert. I saw that.
Okay. Can everybody hear and see everyone? Okay, did you talk?
I did. Can you
Okay,
hear
good.
me?
Yes. I couldn't hear you the first time, but I can hear you now. All right. Back into it. Yes. So as I had described before, you can see a bit of chaos happening, not only in above with Aidy and everything, but also down below as the several clergy members, the people of the Nostromo that had been investigating your airship are now fleeing in abject horror.
I feel like we should also take care of this.
What do you mean? How can we take care of this?
I
Just
don't
floating
know.
in the fucking sky.
Well, maybe looks over to Mira. You can tell her for your safety that these people cannot leave.
I don't think Mara hears that at all. She's so focused on Aidy.
Hey! Hey! Woo!
Does Aidy hear any of that?
Yes. I think it probably sounds really distant. I think she's putting a lot of energy into shielding this overwhelm from Mira and trying to figure out if there's any way that she can bottle whatever this is up and float down to her friends and pretend it never happened.
Give me a charisma saving throw, please.
I would like to use one of my advantages, please, and thank you. Not better. 18.
Still have one
Not
more.
bad.
Yeah, but... Okay, I'll do it.
I'd like to suggest something. Hold on.
18.
Wow.
Aidy's experiencing a lot of rage right now. A lot of rage. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of pain. Probably more than she's ever felt in her life. And it's not just her own pain that she's feeling. She feels Mira's too. Whatever amount of horror that Mira is suppressing right now after having witnessed what happened to her mother, Aidy can feel that. And then she sees her father. She sees Varric. And it's magnified tenfold. Not only is he in pain, he's staring up at Aidy, and it's like he can't see her and he's confused and shocked and horrified, and he doesn't seem to have the capacity to process anything right now. And Aidy can feel that. She lashes out with her power. Roll a spellcaster ability check for me. So that's just a straight charisma roll for you.
Straight charisma? Hang on. Okay. 14.
You guys feel the ground beneath you shake as Aidy lets loose another of those horrific screams. A very much uncontrolled blast surges out in several directions out of Aidy. I need for each of you to please make a dexterity saving throw.
Can I counterspell?
So it's not a spell, but it is magic. I will allow you to attempt to try to contain the magic of this. But you need to make a spellcaster ability check. And it's going to be hard.
Natural 20 for 24.
Okay. Do me a favor and describe for us what this looks like for Mira as she attempts to wrest control of this blast of chaotic ethereal power from another plane of existence and keep it from lashing out and incinerating or obliterating anything else that it touches.
It is a lot of Mira's magic is sort of pure white light. This is tinged with a lot of other colors that if you're looking right at it, you can't quite see, but they sort of flicker in the background and they meet these blasts of Aidy's power and just sort of surround them and hold them in a bubble almost of this flickering white and colored light.
As Mira forms this bubble, it has to become immense to contain the power. And before she realizes what's happening, she basically wraps her sister entirely in this bubble. All of you lose sight of Aidy. It is nothing but a swirl of color and vortex of power and these clashing energies just exploding in the space around you. Mira collapses down to one knee, breathing heavily as she is pushed to her absolute limits by the power that she is attempting to control. And for a few very long seconds, none of you knows what is happening. And then there is a boom and a whoosh of power that blasts out from this bubble that Mira created. All of you are blinded for a moment and are knocked backwards upon the ground. And when you, moments later, shake it off and look up, you see Aidy floating downward, her body limp, her hair still kind of almost like with a static charge kind of floating around her as she slowly lowers to the ground where she, not too far from where she had been standing amongst you, and then collapses in a heap upon the ground. Aidy is conscious, if not maybe slightly incoherent, and the power that she had been manifesting is gone. There are no traces of it. Keen observers might look up in the sky and be able to see that despite the fact that it is still daytime, there's a small bit of a haze where Aidy had manifested, almost like a twilight that doesn't want to quite go away.
As soon as Aidy touches the ground, I'm going to pick her up and put her over my shoulders, and then look to Daddy Tavish and go, make sure Mira's okay. I'm taking Aidy down. And looks at Sisk and Violet. Let's go.
Okay. I will say that Mira is, despite the strain of what she just went through, significantly more cognizant of what Bren just said than Varric possibly could be. Varric doesn't even seem to register. He's just staring into nothingness as he looks upon the scorched mark of the stone where Kalea once was.
I think that bothers Bryn a little bit, actually a lot of bit. And before he picks up Aidy and puts him on the shoulder, he goes over to Varric and he does pop him one, in the face. Not really punches him, but it's more so of hey, trying to get him to snap back. And he's like, come on, listen, this is never going to heal. And if it does, it's going to take a very long time. But right now is not that time. You have 2 girls here who need you to focus. Find it.
As Bran kind of locks eyes with Varric and says this and does this, the pop in the face helps for sure to get the attention, but it seems more that when you mention daughters, that kind of snaps, that does more than anything else, snaps him to it, and he just kind of nods at you.
Sorry for hitting you. Let's go.
He doesn't really respond. He just nods a bit.
You over
You
the
turn
shoulder.
and grab Aidy, yeah.
And Violet will
Varric.
help Mira up and follow.
Yeah. As you do that, Varric comes over too and reaches down to also help Mira up. You all descend down off of this portion of the peak that you had alighted to see everything below. And as you go, you see a few figures in the distance quickly escaping. But you make your way to the ship.
In that moment, Bryn is scanning, and if anybody has something, please stop me. But in this moment, Bryn is flipped after seeing everything, and things need to start happening now. So he's scanning for Phelan, and as soon as he can see them booming out, he goes, "Get whoever can do this. Put them on the ship. We are leaving now."
Don't see Phelan. Okay. You make your way to the ship. What are the rest of you doing during this?
So I feel like Violet is trying to do a head count if she can see anybody, to just make sure that everybody that we know should be on the ship is on the ship. If we get to the ship and Mira is okay with Dad I would like Violet to just dash around to see if she can find everyone, or just do just a head count, not even talk to them, just see if she can find anyone.
Okay. And Kay, what about Sisk?
I'm gonna, I guess, try to start this baby. I'll see what I can do if I can do it by myself.
Okay. And the twins?
I am a shell of a person on the ground.
Currently, you're on Bren's shoulders, but
Yeah, tomato, tomato, really.
I'm just focusing still on Aidy and waiting for any sign of coherence or anything, and just will be focused on her until I can wrap her in a hug and tell her it'll be okay.
okay. So the ship has a port access, like a small door. Once the hull had been repaired, you guys were actually using the normal way of getting into the ship. And so as Bren is kind of leading the way, making your way up that ramp and inside of the ship, you can see there's a bit of chaos surrounding you. The clergy were not being gentle with their investigation of the airship. They didn't necessarily destroy anything, but there's, things tossed and turned, perhaps a few broken remnants of small things, but nothing significant until you make your way up to the crew deck. And Bren sees it first.
Chair.
He sees the leg of Tig,
Oh no. Oh.
and only the leg. He looks around and then he sees Tig's torso, missing an arm. And then not too far distant from that, a battered head of Tig.
I try to mind link with Tig, see if there's anything there.
There is nothing there. The rest of you come in a few moments later, Violet first, followed by Sisk, followed by Mira and Varric. You all see Tig there. Broken, shattered, upon the ground of the crew deck.
We will figure this out later. But we will figure this out. It's kind of like gather the pieces.
Your
Can you
chair
fix him?
is there. It's not destroyed or anything. You could drop Aidy into Bren's chair. You were saying,
Yes.
Andrew?
Violet will turn to Sis. Can you fix him? You're good at fixing things. Can you fix Tig?
Have I seen anything like Tig before?
Yes.
Oh.
You're to be clear, you can answer however you wish, but the fact is, not worked directly on any creature like Tig before.
Yeah.
You would understand the principles of Tig. So the only thing that realistically you could answer and being honest about would be maybe. But you can choose to answer however you wish.
I'll take a moment to consider it. Like, I might be able to crack something out. Take me some time. We want to get out of here first, right? And I know I can fix your lyre. I don't know if I can fix this.
If you can't fix him, then we leave him here with his old crewmates. If you can, we take him with us.
We might be able to find someone.
Okay, fine, whatever. And then she'll keep looking for other people.
Okay.
I'll
As
collect
Violet
Tick's
kind of...
head. Sorry.
No, go
I'll
ahead.
collect Tick's head on my way to the engine.
Violet surges out of the room. You head towards the crew quarters, the small singular room whose purpose was for sleeping. And as you head there, you see two figures. One of them on the ground, Oriana, looking peaceful and yet also pained as she's unconscious and laying there with her hands folded neatly at her abdomen. And then just to the side, you see Phelan attempting to stand up as you had burst into the room, attempting to stand up before recognizing you as trying to defend himself and Oriana. But their leg is twisted and mangled and turned. One of their legs, I should say, is twisted and mangled and turned in a very awkward angle, and they can't put weight on it. And you can see that they have a few bruises and such upon their face. And as you come into the room, there's almost this just relentless relief upon them as they collapse back down onto the ground, somewhat out of breath. And you actually hear them muttering a prayer for a moment before looking back up at you. Please tell me that Mira is okay.
Yeah, she's fine. Don't move. I'll let Siska know where you are. They'll come help you out. Have you seen anybody else? Anybody else?
I don't know what happened with Ren. Ren went off as soon as we got the message from Mira that you all were being attacked, and so she started heading down the mountain immediately, and I have not seen her since. That was before the clergy showed up, so I don't know if they intercepted her. I don't know what happened with that. Please, can you please get Mira? They did something to Oriana, and I don't know what.
Violet will just dash back.
While Violet is gone, Sisk is heading to the engine room, having scooped up Tig's head. And as you enter the engine room, it is completely shut down. Everything is off. You have not seen it shut down since you came to the airship.
Not once.
Not once. Do me a favor and roll an intelligence check. Or we'll just call it an arcana check.
Okay, awesome. Big money, big money. Oh, pretty high money. 21.
Nice. Sisk immediately starts moving around the engine room. They are familiar enough with the workings of the engine room at this point, having been partially responsible for helping to stabilize it before, that they have like a sense of where some of the control surfaces are, where some of the things that, help channel the core power out. And as Sisk passes by the central core of the Arcanic engine, they can feel we'll call it a magical hum. They can't hear it. They can feel it kind of inside of them. They feel that presence of magic and power there. And they realize that, yes, the engine is shut down at the moment, but it's not broken.
Okay.
Give me a insight check, please.
Oh, yikes. Okay, insight is my one with the disadvantage. So,
Makes sense.
Let's see how this goes. So I rolled a 9 plus 3, which would be 12.
Okay. You have this inkling in the back of your mind that there's something more here that you're not quite seeing, and you don't really know what to do about it. The only thing that you can think is that you need to start the process of trying to get things going again, and you know that that's going to take a little bit of time. Coming back to the room that now has a few discarded remnants of Tig's body, and Aidy in Bren's chair, and Mira and Varric there as well. Oh, I guess Bren is here too, sorry. We'll start with you, Bren. What are you doing after you drop Aidy on in the chair?
I think Bren's checking on Mira to see if she's all there in this moment.
Is she?
Hey.
What? Is she okay?
Yes, for the time being. She's there. She's breathing. That's honestly all we can manage right now. Right now, we need to go.
Okay.
Okay, so come on. I need the fierce scud off everybody Mira right now. I just can't be me stomping around. Come on.
What do you want me to do? I don't...
To do what do you...
I don't know how this thing works. I don't... Sisk knows more about this type of stuff than I do, and I need to make sure that Aidy's okay.
Aidy will be fine because we're all here.
You don't know that.
You don't either, but I know she'll be less fine if we stay here and we wait for them to come back. Come on.
And at this point, Varric is like going up and placing a hand on Mira's shoulder, and as he's about to say something, Violet bursts back into the room.
Found Valen. I found Ariana. Valen's leg looks like it's broken, and there's something going on with Ariana. I don't know. She might be unconscious. I think they're just down the hall. He's looking for you, Mira. I think they need you.
As Violet says that, Varric, not with force, but with a gentle assuredness, kind of turns Mira towards him and looks at her in the eyes. You can see very clearly just how much he wants to cry, and he just can't right now. And he stares at her and says, "Go help your friends. I won't leave her side. Bren is right. We need to leave as soon as we can. Go." And he just gives her shoulders a squeeze with both hands.
You come get me if something happens.
I will.
And I'll go out and follow Violet.
What are you doing, Bren?
don't know.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. I think like when Violet and Mira leaves, like Brent looks back at Barrick and he's like, okay. And then looks back at the door and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go, I don't know, batten the hatches or something. Like you like start tying things off or do that whole thing.
You had been reading some of the books about what to do, and you know that there's a lot of prep that needs to go into things of like getting the ropes and the sails and everything put into position and whatnot. So you know that there's a portion of your brain that is kicking over, trying to list the litany of things that have to happen in order for the ship to take off. So you head off to do that. And while we're actually on that point, there's a point of clarification that I need to make, because I don't think we actually discussed it more than once a very long time ago. You guys had contemplated whether or not you wanted to actually take the fallen crew with you to return them home, because there was bodies that Tig had buried under rocks. And I know that you guys had discussed removing them from their resting place and with them wrapped up, storing them in the ship to bring them back home. But then we kind of didn't come back to that discussion. So you guys need to tell me, because that could have happened like before this point when you guys were doing all of the repairs in the weeks that led up to this. So I'm curious. And Raven just sent a hail to Andrew. Thanks, Raven.
Okay, team, quick vote. Bodies on the ship, raise your hand.
I don't know how to store them.
Okay, bodies are not on the ship. They're still on the mountain.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's
last minute.
Wait. Okay, one more time. Bodies on the ship, hands up, go. Okay, cool. That was just an example, like, because I don't want to bring them either. So, cool.
Okay, just clarifying. So yes, Bren heads off to start battening down the hatches, so to speak. Mira, as you burst into the room, you see Phelan and their horribly mangled leg. And as you come in, they try to stand up and like almost fall down. They support themselves on with like a bed there in the room as they reach out to you, and you can see the look of pain upon their face and easily seen relief that you are there.
What happened to her?
They pull their hand back and with a grimace, I genuinely do not know. They did some kind of magic upon her, but I think it happened before the clergy arrived. We were just going about things, and then all of a sudden I heard a scream, and when I turned around, she was collapsing to the ground, and her eyes, you know that she's been wearing, not revealing clothes, but her skin has been showing, and she has not been using her illusion to cover the eyes that are at various places upon her body. And you can see that all of them are clenched shut, like immensely tightly. And then moments after that was when we were assaulted.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start by casting Detect Magic, just to see if there's any way that I can see what is affecting her.
Sure. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check, please.
25.
Nice. you can, as soon as you cast Detect Magic, you feel the power of it come up, your eyes go awash with color, and you can see the multiple auras of magic that are currently enveloping her. You see a very, very powerful enchantment spell that has been placed upon her. And that, coupled with a smaller, less powerful transmutation spell of some kind. And then in addition to that, with your 25, I will say that you also see a sliver of a necromantic energy that is coursing between them. And I will say that with that check, you feel that this is very reminiscent of what was likely affecting Fig. However many, many weeks ago that was, you had agonized over not being able to help Violet's friend and run through all of the many permutations of what that curse was that the Nostromo had placed upon them. And it gives you a moment of doubt now as to whether or not you're seeing something similar on Oriana.
I will look up at Phelan as I'm casting protection from evil and good on Oriana and just say, I think this is beyond me. I've seen something like it before, and it's bad. There is a lot of complex magic here that I don't know how to untangle.
They just nod and they move forward and have to lower themselves down to the ground next to you, where Oriana is, and they just kind of pull you into an embrace and just say, it's okay. We'll figure it out. How's everyone else? What happened with the Nostromo?
They're gone.
Can we leave?
I hope so. We're trying.
I don't suppose Bren might have any of that restorative magic at hand. My leg really hurts.
I don't know what he's got left, but we can ask.
Just gonna sit here for a moment, if that's okay. And you can see that they're really drained as they just collapse down onto the ground next to Oriana. They reach out their hand and place it on top of Oriana's crossed hands. I really did try to stop them. He's not even looking up at you when he says that.
So did we. I will leave and see if I can find Bren.
What's Violet doing during all of that?
I think Violet will as Mira and Phelan are having this conversation, she'd kind of just squeeze Mira's shoulder just to kind of acknowledge that she'd be that she's leaving, and I think she'd try to run and find Sisk.
You find Sisk easily enough in the engine room. Sisk is busily trying to get things working again. Not much has changed in the few minutes at this point, but Sisk is running through the process that they know. As you
What can I do to
come into
help?
the
Um, well, I haven't really checked out the what's the turny thingy, the big wheel at the top. So I'm sure that there might be some buttons or switches that need to be pressed, or oh shit. I think I have to teach you some in Asaran. So Sisk is gonna take out a little piece of paper and is gonna write down like little labels that might be on something like this. Because I would think that something this technical might have some things labeled, or
Can I
Sure.
send you a message? We could just message each other. I'll tell you what I see.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Thanks, Violet. Oh, I would get really tired of doing those stairs. I'm gonna be real with you.
Violet will dash to wherever Sisk says I need to go.
that would be the helm, where the big wheelie thing is.
The technical terms.
Technical terms. So you head up to the helm, and you guys are attempting to work together to deal with the ship. Mira comes out from the crew quarters, making her way onto the crew deck. You see Varric is now like sitting next to Aidy, holding Aidy's hand. Aidy is still not fully there yet. Aidy's not unconscious, but you can't feel the connection. You don't feel the bond. But she's just not quite there yet. And Varric just kind of looks up at Mira as she comes into the room.
Is Bren here?
He said he had to go and take care of some things up on deck.
Is she okay?
She's breathing fine. It's almost like she's trying to not fall asleep.
Can you do me a favor?
Of course.
Can you tell Bren that Phelan needs help?
Yeah. Kind of looks back and forth between you and Aidy, trying to make sure that he understands that you're staying there, before nodding. And
I'm gonna get into the chair next to Aidy.
okay. Eric disappears above deck. Beth, you want to go ahead and make another charisma saving throw for me?
Absolutely. 20.
Dirty 20. I'm assuming it was a dirty 20 and not a natural 20.
The dirtiest, yes.
Yeah. Once Mira settles into the chair and pulls Aidy into an embrace, and Aidy can hear Mira's heartbeat. It's almost like a beacon, a lighthouse in the fog that starts to pull Aidy back to coherence.
As she's kind of becoming aware and can feel Mira there, I think even before her eyes focus on anything, there would just be tears, just so many tears. And I think slowly she'd blink herself to awareness. And you just hear a sharp intake of breath.
You did, Deb.
It's okay. I've got you.
What happened?
I don't know.
Where is everyone?
They're working on getting the ship in the air.
I don't know why I did that. I don't know how I did that. I'm sorry.
For what?
Exploding? You were frightened of me. Everyone was.
For you. Yes.
No, there's a difference, and I could feel it. Is Mom gone?
Yeah.
Okay. What now?
Now we leave. And we figure it out like we always have.
I don't know if we can figure this one out.
We can try.
Yeah, we can. And she'll try to get up from the chair. I'm sure her ass is wedged into Bren's divot that he has there. But she'll try.
Aidy is a bit unsteady, but
Oh, yeah.
you can stand up.
She does, and her hands shake, and she will look to Mira. Where's Violet?
I think she went to help Sisk. She's here somewhere.
Chokrin. And she'll just sort of hobble off, I guess, to try to find Violet. probably stopping every few feet to like lean against something. But she'll look.
I'm assuming that Mira goes with her.
Yep.
While that was happening, Ian, Bren is up on the deck of the ship trying to remember how to tie that knot that Ren had showed him. He's on his 5th attempt at doing it when Varric approaches him. Bren, apparently Phelan is injured and needs your help.
What? Okay. Here. And then just hands him the rope. Make sure there's a knot in it and it's good. And then shuffles off.
He just stands there confused for several long moments as you head off. You do run into Violet, who is heading up to the navigation deck.
Hey, what are you doing?
I don't know. He's running.
Just a bunch of fucking idiots running around a ship right now.
Just a bunch of idiots.
I go down the steps and just kind of like just kind of running down.
You have to run through the crew deck so you get to move past. You see Aidy standing a bit, haphazardly on her feet with Mira supporting her there.
It's one of these. He's like, "Hey, we good?"
Aidy will go over and hug you. Just like really tight.
Aidy kind of collapses into breath.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. You saved us all back there.
You just feel her like shake her head against your chest. I'm sorry.
It's okay, bud. For what? Hey, look, kind of like pulls you away. Hey, you ain't got nothing to be sorry about. Honestly, if you didn't have your moment, we'd be dead. But right now, you should be sitting down. Looks at Mira. Why isn't she sitting down?
Where's Violet?
That's not what She ran upstairs. I think they were going to the helm.
Going upstairs.
Where's Phelan?
That way.
Okay. Hey, bud. Kiss on the top of the head. Mwah. Hey, you're gonna be fine. And then just runs off the next way.
You go running off in the direction of the crew quarters. The twins start heading up above deck. As you head back to the crew quarters, you kind of burst into the room. There's a moment of surprise as Phelan just kind of, shockedly turns their head towards the door and then sees you and is like, everybody's going so fast today. You look down and you see that their leg is twisted about 75 degrees in a direction it should not be twisted. And you see Oriana laying there kind of peacefully, but laying there, and you can kind of tell that something has been done to her, but that one's probably beyond your ken.
Let's take care of this, and then goes down gently, placing hands over Phelan's leg. I have that.
Just tell me what level of Cure Wounds you're attempting to use. I'm assuming that you're going for Cure Wounds.
Yeah, 3rd.
Do you do anything else before you do that, or besides that, or are you just going for the healing?
Right now, it's just going for the healing because that it should not. That is in the very wrong direction.
It is very much in the wrong direction. And as you take your hands and start summoning forth the magic of the natural world to kind of bind the wound that is obviously here, you summon it forth. There's this wash of energy across Phelan's leg. Phelan kind of gets a peaceful moment upon their face before all of a sudden you hear this crack and pop and snap as the wound is healing itself fast and back into where it should be. And there's a scream of agony from Phelan as they are healed some significant to a significant degree, physically, from the injury. It's definitely going to be a problem for them for some number of days, despite it, being functional. They're not going to have full use of it, but you at least get it able to hinge in the appropriate direction again, and you guys all kind of hear the scream echo through the halls of the ship, but it quickly subsides. And as you have healed their leg, they bend it a bit, and there's a little pop there. There's a hitch in it, and you are fairly certain that they're going to have that little hitch and pop probably permanently. Causes your own knees to kind of, sympathy pain a little bit as their scream suppresses, and they're digging their hands into the wood of the deck. I would say thank you, but I don't want to.
Figure that out. It's fine. I know that was a lot, and we'll run it back over a drink, but we need to get out of here. And
right,
you're the person.
Has there been any sign of Ren?
What? Ren is missing too?
Ren went after you all before the clergy arrived. They were heading down the mountain as soon as we got news from Mira that you all were under attack.
Okay. I'll add it to the list. Could you please help someone?
I will absolutely be glad to help someone. And they reach out a hand to you to get them back on their feet. As you take it and hoist them up fairly easily. They don't weigh a whole lot. They wince in a bit as they put weight on the leg, but they can at least put weight on it now. They look down at Oriana. Can you help me clear off some of this mess? Yeah, and you look around and you can see that the beds have just been completely wrecked. Let's put her in a bed, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
The two of you start working to clear a good space for Oriana. Above deck, the twins emerge onto the main deck of the ship. You see Varric kind of finishing tying off a rope and tugging on the rope really hard to make sure that it's a strong knot. It's 100% not a sailing knot. They just sat there and tied it several times until it wouldn't budge anymore. And he turns and looks and sees the two of you and starts walking over hurriedly. He gets very close, and there's a little bit of hesitancy, but only for a moment as he reaches out and tries to hug Aidy.
What is she feeling from him?
This is as good a point as any. Aidy can't feel like she used to. Not right now, anyway. Everything is... It's almost like when you're hearing a conversation through a wall. You can kind of feel it or hear it, but not quite. And that's what she's experiencing in this moment. She feels burnt out. And so I would say that it's really hard for her to discern how much pain she feels from her father's emotions that she's able to not think of as her emotions.
Cool. Okay. She accepts the hug and kind of hugs back, but it feels sort of hollow. And
as she does offer even the smallest amount of embrace in return, Varric starts sobbing. He reaches out and almost forcefully grabs Mira and pulls the both of you in. And it's not like an uncontrollable sob, but it's definitely, he's not able to hold it back.
Aidy cries too, but she's a little bit numb, feeling everything and numb at the same time.
What about Mira?
Mira will hug back. And then after a couple of moments, she'll sort of help Aidy extricate herself and just whisper, "You go find Violet."
And she will.
As you do that, there's a moment where Varric does not want to let you go. And you have to place your hand on his arm. And then he lets go and starts to compose himself and try to get a semblance of control.
Mira will sort of take over the hug in force and say, she'll come back.
Varric just kind of nods. You don't think you've ever seen your father express anywhere close to this level of emotion before. He's always been more of a happy-go-lucky sort. And even when things were, even when there was down times where things weren't great in the family, he was always there to make a little bit of humor out of a situation or try to be the more steadfast one. And he just looks at Aidy and nods. Right. And he seems a little bit disoriented and lost for a moment. Good opportunity for Aidy to get away if she wanted to do that.
Yep. She will.
Mira, what do you do with Varric at this point?
I just hug him for a couple of more moments and then guide him over to sit down for a couple minutes and pull out a canteen and hand him some water. And
takes a little bit of, not cajoling per se, but just like holding it there in front of him for him to focus on it and realize what you're doing. And he takes it and takes a very small sip. There's silence, but it's almost like he is trying to say something and just can't, and then just kind of gives up. And he just kind of sits there next to Mira. There's a definite sense that he is broken right now. As Aidy makes her way up to the navigator's deck, what does Aidy see from Violet as Violet is standing in front of the console and controls and large wheel that is at the helm of the ship?
Violet is trying her best to describe everything she's seeing to Sisk and just sending messages back and forth. There's a giant wheel, there's a bunch of buttons, there's a weird thing that goes up and down. I think it's a lever of some kind. What do I do?
And as you're saying that through the message, before Sisk can really respond with what is probably going to be an I don't know either, Aidy steps up onto the deck and you see Violet.
Vi.
Hey, you okay?
No. She'll walk towards you.
So Violet will take like a couple of steps backwards, actually.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. What's going on?
I don't know. I didn't mean to scare you. Bye.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
I mean, neither have I. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get us. I'm just really focused, just trying to get the
Vi.
ship going. What?
Come on.
Aidy, I don't know. I don't know. You really fucking scared the shit out of me. I've never.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to process that right now. And Aidy, I care about you a lot right now, but we have to go. And I feel like you shouldn't be standing. And I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Fine.
It's not fine, Violet. It's not fine. None of this is fine. But I am sorry. And I'm sorry about Chokrin and everything.
Aidy, you
I'm just
held
sorry.
my hand and looked me in the eye and told me we could do this how I wanted. And all of a sudden that happened. It feels like I don't know you. Feels like I can't trust you. It feels like, I don't know. It's a lot right now, and we need to move the ship. We could talk about it later. I don't know, Aidy, like, I accept your apology, but right now I can't move on from it right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna see if I can go help.
Talk later, okay?
Yeah. Bye, Violet. And she'll head back.
As you head back down, Phelan and Bren emerge from the crew quarters. Coming up on deck, you guys see Mira and Varric sitting there, kind of in their somewhat broken states. Phelan just comes over and, still limping a fair bit in their leg, able to at least use it. They reach down and take Mira's hand and give it a squeeze. Glances back at Bren, turns to Mira. We've got a lot of, there's a lot of things that have to happen right now if we're going to get the ship going. I don't know exactly what happened with the engine below, but something happened where it all of a sudden lost all power. I heard several of the clergy, the Nostromo, I heard them complaining about some things, and Chokerin was, of course, being them. And they didn't know what was happening. Bren said that Sisk is below taking care of it, but they might need your help too.
I'll go down.
Just give you another reassuring squeeze. They turn back to Bren. All right, we've got a lot of things with the ropes to do. Come on.
Okay, more knots.
And Phelan kind of leads you over to start taking care of rigging. As Mira, I'm assuming Mira starts to stand up to head down below, and as she does, Varric just kind of reaches out and grabs onto her arm. And there's a moment where he just looks lost, and he just kind of blinks through it, and then his grip loosens on her arm.
I'll be back.
He just nods. Where does Aidy go?
She needs to feel helpful right now. So she would, I think she'd go to the engine room.
You follow in behind Mira as the two of you head down to the engine room. When you get there, what do they see, Sisk?
So Sisk at this point is, some of their scarves and things are singed at the ends. They're covered in like some sort of greasy oil or something. Their like like arm deep in some crevice near the engine. They're like, I don't know what, and like, come on, baby, like let's get this going, please. We need to get out of here. And like talking to the engine, talking to themselves more than anything. They're harried. They are, yeah, it's a mess.
What do the two of you do when you come in?
Seems like it's going well.
Cisco will turn around and try to look as casual as possible, which means they're very, very uncomfortable. Fancy seeing you here. Are you two okay? Can you focus on this?
Yes, we need tasks.
Okay. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure it out. I've seen some things that are somewhat similar. I assume I have also been flipping through some of the books as well. I can't seem to quite grasp it. I understand some of the things, just like I understand some of what Tig's about, but not the full picture yet. I don't know if it's more the arcane stuff that's freaking me out, or
Let's try something. Mira will go over to where she has talked to the engine before and just sort of run her hands along a few of the parts and then look up at the others and say, it likes magic. Let's start there. And I will...
There at the hum. I'll mention that there's already a little bit of a hum.
As soon as you place your hand upon the spot, you can kind of feel some of the semblance of power coming from the engine. Give me a perception check. And Aidy, give me an insight check, please. Saw a lot of dice. I didn't see the results.
23.
Dirty 20.
Okay. We'll go to 80 first. As Mira does this, places a hand where she has before when you guys have channeled Arcana into the engine to help stabilize it, 80 starts to feel something again. She starts to feel a definitive sense of relief. And she thinks that she feels it because it is so very different from all of the other very powerful emotions that are swirling in her vicinity right now. And this sense of relief seems to be coming from the ship. And Mira can feel not only the hum that Sisk described, but Mira can actually start to feel it getting stronger.
I think it just needs to jump again, like before. It feels, I think it's glad we're back.
Think so.
Is this like in a sailors love their ship and they call her she, and is it like that, or is this something else?
It's...
So,
yes and no. The ship is sort of sentient. It has emotions and not thoughts per se, but we can feel it.
Okay. There's a lot happening today. Okay. So how's it feeling now that we're here?
I can't feel its emotions. That's an Aidy thing, but it seems like it's getting stronger now that we're here.
It's relieved that we're here. I think it just needs our magic to come back. I don't really know how it all works. We just sort of touched it before and things have happened. Couldn't really tell you, but if it works, why not?
Let's give it a shot, I suppose. Do you want to do the honors?
You're already touching it, Mira.
I will start by casting guidance on it.
Okay. The small amount of magic that is your guidance is very quickly taken from your hand and absorbed into the engine, and you can feel that sense of power starting to swell once again within the Arcanic engine. And thank you so much, Raiders. Welcome in. Fuzka. Aw, thanks for coming in, guys. Things are starting to heat up a little bit as our crew is finally getting their ship back to functioning so that they can get the fuck out of town. And I'm just going to kind of move things along here as you guys start to slowly introduce some of your own magic back into the Arcanic engine. You can all see the control surfaces of the room starting to light up again. You can kind of feel that tingling in the air that is common as you have been in and out of the engine room before. The hair on your back of your neck and arms starts to kind of tingle a bit, and everything is slowly starting to come back to a bit of normalcy, but it's a very slow and methodical process. And not only from your time with the engine before, but also from some of the things that you have read, that this is not a quick experience. If you try to do something quick, then that can lead to catastrophe. And so you have to be very gentle with how much power you start to have the engine ramp up with. As this is all taking place, Ian.
Yeah. I'm on top of the helm, being very gentle with my power as well.
No, you're not.
No.
You're trying to figure out how to tie knots. You're trying to do rigging. You're trying and failing a few times before Phelan re-instructs you for the 7th time how to tie an appropriate slip knot. But
just show me to hit something, like with the hammer or something.
That's not how any of this works.
My hands, Phelan, they're too big.
Well, you're gonna have to find. I've known men significantly larger than you able to sail quite effectively, so you can't give me that kind of excuse. Get over it. And the two of you go back and forth as you're desperately trying to get all of the rigging taken care of. It takes quite a bit of time for you to go through all of these processes. Almost an hour goes by before Violet, being in one of the higher vantage point positions on the ship, sees a figure coming towards the ship. Familiar silhouette of a woman dragging something or someone. Violet spots Ren approaching the ship.
Yeah, if she's close enough, I'll send her a message telling her we're trying to fly away.
As soon as you say that, you do hear Ren's voice come into your head. Praise the fucking Ascendants that something is going right today. Are you okay?
Yep. Get on the ship as fast as you can. We're leaving.
Good. I have someone that I want to throw off the side in a little bit after we wring some information out of him, maybe.
Who?
Oh, just someone that tried to kill me and failed.
What?
Is everyone else okay? I saw some, we'll call them fireworks from below.
Yeah. And if not, we will be. But we need to go.
Okay. Be there in a moment.
Like Violet's just pushing a bunch of buttons and like pulling a bunch of levers.
Are you just
You,
trying to look busy in front of Ren? Is that?
Absolutely.
Red's not there yet.
Start sweeping for some reason.
After a few moments, those of you that are above deck are joined by Ren as they toss a figure upon the ground. A familiar figure in that you can recognize what they wear, but an unfamiliar figure in that you've never seen him before. Human man, about 5'7", 5'8", somewhat stocky build, wearing the adornments of a clergy, specifically the Nostromo. He's wearing a torn red cloak. But this man doesn't have the same kind of imposing nature that the red cloaks that you had fought before did. It might have a little bit to do with the fact that he is unconscious at this point and looks like he has been beaten pretty heavily. But you also notice that Ren is injured as well. She's bleeding from several places, and you can see a couple of very large scorch marks upon her body that are like the kind that from divine radiant magic that Bren has summoned on an occasion or two, guiding bolt, as it were. The familiar telltale signs of being blasted by that kind of magic. And as they drag this figure onto the ship and just kind of let them go, they look at, we'll say Bren being the closest. They look at you, she looks at you, Bren, and she says, I'm not even going to fucking ask how you managed to get here before I did. I don't care. Can you at least
Nice
tell
to
me?
see you too, Ren.
Yeah. Yeah. So these guys were in the way as I was coming back up here, which means that they were here.
Yep.
Yeah. They got past me. So I'm a little pissed about that. We're going to have to probably talk a lot about what's going to happen. But before we do that, do you think you can heal him a little bit so that we can wake him up and wring his neck some more?
Gladly.
I'm going to go get the others. Where is everybody at? Yeah, you kind of point, and you stand there hovering over this Nostromo. Phelan limps over to you, and you can actually see Varric, who has been up on the deck just kind of sitting in his grief, stand and start taking steps towards you as well. Ren first heads up. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I think we all, like the three of us, hover over this Nostromo person, and I squat really down and I look at him and I go, we're going to have a lot of fun. And primal savagery eyes just glint.
He's completely unconscious at this point, but I think that's great.
Oh no, I healing word to wake his ass up for this.
We'll get there in a second. Ren says, wait for me to get back with the rest. Ren goes up to the navigation deck, sees Violet standing there, looks at you. Very glad you're okay. You see them pretty messed up. Probably more than you've ever seen them injured.
You okay?
I will be.
Who's your friend?
No idea. Hoping we can find out before we have to throw him down the mountainside. Guessing he's going to have a few things to say.
Want to introduce me?
Go right ahead. Where's the rest? I think everybody should be here for this.
I think they're in the engine room with Sisk.
Great. Hey, can you just send him a message so I don't have to walk all the way down there?
Yeah.
Do that.
Send a message to Sisk. Come up to the upper deck.
Guys,
you'll
tear
hear
your-
back. Oh, Rin's so cool. Okay.
You tear yourselves away from the engine room. You're all very tired and sweaty at this point as the engine is starting to come back to power, and you all head up to the deck. As you get there, you all see Bren kind of looming over this figure upon the ground. Bren, you see everyone there.
Spins his head around and like completely gets himself back, like drool everywhere from sharp teeth. And he's like, sorry, I was having a little fun.
You guys are all standing there around this figure just laying on the deck of the ship. Ren has crossed arms as she stares at you, Ren.
Or are we doing this now? You want to do this now?
I think so, as everyone comes up from below deck.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Spins right back around. Again, squats low and he goes, let's start with something simple. What's your name?
Wake him up first.
Oh. What's your name? Smack healing word.
You smack a healing word across his face. You all hear a couple of bones pop back into place, like a dislocated shoulder, perhaps, from the healing magic, and the figure on the ground just gasps. As he's just laying there, kind of looking around at all of you. His gaze settles for a moment on Ren, and there's an immediate look of fear as he then turns towards Bren, who just like is looming over his face. Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the boat. Your name.
Barrick.
Wonderful to meet you. Barrick, you have two options here. One, you can answer all of these questions and you may be kind of okay, or you can give us difficulty, and whatever our friend over there did to you to get you here, they are going to do it again, plus some. Either way, we're going to have a great time.
Give me an intimidate check with advantage, please.
Oh, dude, natural 19 for a 32.
Nice. He just kind of nods his head up and down. As he does that, who among you thinks that your character would have the most understanding of clergy and ranks and that sort of thing?
Me.
Yeah.
You say it so enthusiastically.
Give me a history check, please.
Ooh, that's terrible. I'm going to use an advantage. Not much better. 15.
He's good. Why are you complaining about a 15?
Because I have a +7.
Because it's not perfect, Miko, okay?
Oh, damn, +7.
as Ian looks at his character sheet for any +7s.
Right? I ain't got none.
So you can tell fairly clearly that this man, whoever he is probably someone that was recently promoted to whatever rank that he has. Despite the suffering that he obviously endured at the hands of Ren, some of his adornments are a little bit too new. Some of the iconography that he wears is just a little bit too well made. And he strikes Mira as he's not Ejoran by any stretch of the imagination. But he was probably the type of individual that was in the room when he wasn't specifically in the room when Mira was being interrogated, but he's that rank of individual.
Seems like just a glorified grunt to me.
Yeah, no, that's good. Sure, just a grunt.
One who knows things. I know people like you. Lurk in the shadows. Groveling.
See them getting very dejected. You know, sometimes we have to just do what we can to survive.
You could literally do anything else.
Maybe. What do you want me to say?
Everything you know.
You just tell me what you want to ask, and I'll tell you anything.
How long did the clergy know about this?
About what?
About this being up here?
Ship? We didn't know it was a ship until very, very recently. When we set out from Orlustran, we were told that there was some found power, some meteor that had fallen from the sky, and we needed to claim it for him.
Or whom?
Look, I don't know his name, all right? We call him the Quiet Shadow. He would send orders through coded messages or whispers, and I mean, I know that they were talking about something bigger, something dark. Chokran was even scared of it. I mean, the Nostromo weren't just cleansing cursed. They're looking for something. Something about old powers, something beyond this realm and the shadow. He was the one directing us. They, I don't even know if it's a he, Jesus.
It is a he.
Everybody's head just kind of turns towards Sisk.
Yeah. Sisk is like, they generally have a very light blue tone when they're as themselves, and I don't think they changed into anything. They are very pale. The Quiet Shadow was the one that held me and took control over me for the last few years, and that's Kellanun there.
There's almost a sense of when you utter that name that Barrick just kind of like cringes up, like he doesn't even want to hear the name that he's already heard. He's so afraid of it.
That's right, isn't it?
I didn't know his. I don't want to know his name. Anybody that Chokrin was afraid of.
Does he must know by now about the ship?
I know that Chokrin sent a message as soon as we were here.
To
The Shadow. He told us that he was pleased and that we were to try to figure out how to get it working and bring it to him.
And if they were to bring it, where would they bring it?
I don't know. I wasn't told where we were going. We were just instructed to figure out how to get it to work. That's all. But then the engine just like shut down for no reason, and I don't know what we were going to do next. And then everything just went crazy. And he just kind of glances towards Aidy.
Gets into the line of sight of Barrick. Hey, we're talking. Good. Okay. You said they give you instructions in how to turn it on. You have them?
No, we were trying to figure it out. We had no idea. This is insane. A flying ship? Are you kidding me? It's like nothing any of us has ever seen before.
Who's next in line after Chokrin? Who replaces him?
Probably Ejoran, I guess. He was who we were taking orders from before Chokrin got here.
Is Leighton still in the Quiet Shadows good books?
I don't know Leighton.
I look at Aidy, I'm like, is that true? I can't tell.
You have no reason to think that this guy is not being honest at this point. Everything, you guys don't even need to roll insight checks. Everything is telling you that he's trying desperately to somehow say something that is going to make sure he doesn't come out of this dead.
Is there anything else we want or need to know? To the group, asking to them.
I don't know.
What else happened in the city?
When we left, it was to kind of get away from it. There was a lot of really angry people. Ejoran said that there was some motivations being put in place to keep the conflict from getting too out of hand, but I don't see how that was going to happen unless more of us were coming in. All of us made our way into the Siltwood, and most of us up here. Ejoran splintered off with a few, but I don't know where he is.
You got anything on you? Sending something, anything like that, to where you can carry a message?
No, that wasn't something I did. That Chokrin took care of all of that.
What did you do?
I was responsible for asking people to identify Cursed.
How? By just pointing? Come on. What can you do?
I can put people in a room and let the interrogators talk to them. That's what I did. That's what I do. I don't have magic.
Because of this, and starts pointing at like his rank. Because of this is why you could put people in a room.
Yeah.
Take it off.
Just kind of slowly starts going up to his cloak and yanks the clasp away and lets it fall back and starts messing with the armor that he wears to undo it. Tears off a couple of the adornments and symbols of the clergy.
I just want your rank. I just want your insignias. Keep your clothes on. You have a family?
Yeah, my dad. It's
They're in
just
the
me
city?
and him now. Where? What?
Are they in the city? In the town?
No. No, he lives in a small village not too far from the capital. Please don't hurt my dad. He doesn't have anything to do with this.
Violet, can you please run down to the crew's quarters? Give this man a few rations. I'm gonna go be visiting his father.
Just kind of looks at you skeptically.
This could have
Violet will
gone
dash
really
away.
bad for you. This could have gone very bad for you. But I'm taking you on your word. I'm taking you on the fact that you are just a scared child doing what you needed to do to survive. I'm going to give you one more opportunity to survive. Go see your father. That's it.
Okay.
Do not think that we won't know if you deviated from what I tell you. Trust me. And then mind links with him. We'll know.
As soon as you mind link with him, he recoils, just nods. Okay.
You help anybody who's cursed, who's not cursed. You help anybody who you've hurt. That's how you live.
Look, this wasn't how I thought any of this would go, okay? I didn't know it was going to go so far.
Now you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Did Violet go down to get the rations?
Yeah, Valley dashed away. We'll grab the rations and like 2 gold pieces. Throw them at his feet.
As you come back up and start walking towards him, he kind of tries to look around at everyone, but can't really look anyone in the eye. And he turns back to Bren and he says, look, if you're gonna go after the shadow, you might want to try to find there's this movement. It's kind of like a resistance. I've heard Joran and some of the others talking about it. They say that they're protecting the cursed, and they're always seemingly one step ahead of us. I know that we've tried to find them, and they keep getting away. There was one man. Chokun was really after him for a long time. His name was Reed.
Poker face, everybody. Poker face.
I don't know how he managed to always get away from things, but he's kind of like a ghost almost, and Chokran was really, really mad with him and wanted him a lot. If that's somebody that Chokran wants, he might know something about the shadow. He might know more than me. I know that Chokran thought he was a traitor. He said something about Breed used to be one of them before turning traitor. And now he's part of this resistance or something, and it's been years and they can't find him. I know it's his doing.
You said, I think you used the past tense there. What changed? Did Chokran stop being interested in Reed after a point?
Oh no, he always wanted Reed. That he was mad that he wasn't out hunting Reed when we were given this assignment. I know that Chokran was awful. I know that. But really, he was just a pawn for the Quiet Shadow. He did everything the Shadow wanted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go.
He kind of stands up, reaches out to take the rations, the pouch from Violet. Does Violet do anything or just let him have it?
Let's have it.
Slowly starts moving himself towards the edge of the ship. There's a moment where Ren is standing there off to the side, and you can see her jaw clenched tightly, her arms crossed. And you can tell very clearly that she just wants to pull her sword and end him. She locks eyes with Bren. Ren say or do
Just
anything?
stares. He just stares right back at Ren. Just
The man moves to the edge of the ship and leaves. And as he leaves, thank you so much, Knights of D20, for the raid. Wow, we're getting all kinds of raids tonight. Appreciate you guys coming in. We are getting to a bit of a climactic moment here. Does anyone do anything as you see your would-be prisoner depart the ship and start moving faster and faster away from all of you?
Brent just turns to everybody and goes, "Let's get this thing moving."
Ren just kind of turns away from you, all of you, and looks up into the sky, and you see Lyra circling very, very high up in the sky above. And Ren just starts heading towards the upper navigation deck. As soon as the engines are good, I'll get us moving. You just got to point me in a direction.
Key. How is the engine doing?
It could use a little more magic, I think. Seems like it shut down when the clergy got here, but it's coming back.
You guys have felt the ship kind of swaying a little bit like it does when it's been stationary as you've been repairing it. So yeah, you can feel that it's almost there. It just needs a tiny little kick more.
Do what you can, and then you head south. So have to get that part to keep the engine stable. And then looks at Violet. Little family reunion.
I don't know. Why? It's not our problem to deal with. That we're flying
Doesn't seem
away.
like- Oh, we're gonna do this now. Okay. The two of you, points at Sisk and Violet, we're walking from Tamra's. We're so gung ho about starting a revolution, and then it started. Then we come to find out that Reed, looks at Violet, is the spearhead to that. Now it's not your problem.
I don't know who that guy is. Great. Good for him. I'm glad that he started something. I don't care. To me, he
Do not
sounds
care
like
that it started.
some vainglorious bastard that left his kid to start a revolution. What does he need from me?
We didn't know that you turned out great. Are you upset that he started a revolution? Are you upset that it was him who did it?
I'm upset that it was him that did it. He chose everyone else over me.
We got a trip ahead of us. No more than enough time to think about it. If you decide that this is not what you prefer to do, go on to the next adventure. But there's a little bit that wants an answer to anything. Go.
And you've been more of a father to me than my dad ever has been. So I could care less what he's up to. It's not important to me. You were excited to leave. Happy to do that.
Oh, I'm still excited to leave. Like we're leaving. But I don't know, Violet. Like you
You said we had to cut ties. That's what I'm doing.
there's multiple ways to do that.
You give the twins shit for trying to go see their dad, and now you want to go see mine.
It's really, I mean, you know what? You're right. You're right. This is how you feel you want to cut ties. That's fine. I, for one, though, I'm a little curious what makes the big bad scary. Because in my neck of the woods, it's me. I'm starting to figure out that it's not. So I need to know why. So I can be the scariest thing. So whether we go to see your dad or not, that's fine. I'd like to go see who's the scariest. Again, think about it.
Violet will just stalk off.
As Violet stalks off, Varric, standing there, turns and looks at his daughters. You can see that some of the pain that he had been experiencing before has been replaced with a little bit of anger. And although his tears have dried somewhat, it seems that whatever he's still feeling is being channeled in perhaps a different direction. And he looks at the two of you and kind of glances at Sisk as well and says, "So you've got an engine down there that needs magic, huh?"
Lake is like has been just shaking like a leaf. They're still like lacking color, and they have been pulled out their multi-tool and has just been like really fidgeting with it to try and ineffectually mask just how like messed up they feel about this. They're like, yeah, let's go downstairs.
I might be able to help with that. And they go over to the edge of the ship, and they pull out from underneath of some ropes where it had fallen Chokran's staff. Pretty good at unmaking things. This probably has a decent amount of power in it.
Get rid of it.
Right. Lead the way. And he just looks at Sisk. And the twins can easily see the hatred that is washing across their father's face right now. Do the twins do anything as Sisk leads their father down to the engine room?
Nope.
Sis does not think anything is wrong. This is so rude.
Oh my goodness, guys, we just got another raid. Wow. Who's this? Hampod? Thanks, Hampod. Welcome in, raiders. You're catching kind of the end of our stream tonight as we are wrapping up a little bit of story, but stick around. We're going to have a little bit left here before we sign off. As all of you go about your responsibilities, whether known or unknown, on the ship, you do whatever you can to get things moving. You can feel the airship creak as not just it powers itself forward, but also the weight of the past few hours hang heavy over everything. There's a stillness in the air, kind of quiet, that is filled with everyone's unspoken thoughts. A bit of burden from what was lost and what was awoken. And one by one, you all find your various places on board the ship. Bruised, broken, weary, but determined to leave the mountains behind nonetheless. Ren, her armor torn, very bloodied, stands at the helm as she tightens her grip with a bit of resolve. You can see the exhaustion in her eyes, but there's also a determination there. Maybe it's just a simple need to move forward. All of you can kind of feel that need as well. Phelan limps over to one of the benches. You know that somewhere down below, Oriana lies unconscious, but breathing, however fragile that breath might be. Tig lies broken in pieces. Sort of a reminder what you all have just survived. The ship begins to shudder. The engines reach their power, and you can feel the hum rise up from below. There's a subtle pull as the ground slowly begins to slip away. The jagged cliffs of the Storm Song stand tall around you. It's like they watch as you depart. As their peaks cut into the sky, you cut higher. The cold mountain winds whip around and across the deck. But you don't look back. Not now. There's a heavy silence as each one of you gets lost in your own thoughts. Memories of the last hours, the loss of Kalea, the eruption of Aidy's power, Chokran's obliteration. It all feels like too much, too fast. But you can't turn back. Hopefully there's time in the future to process. There's not a lot of time right now. The airship lifts higher, and with it, there's a sense of urgency that fills the air. You need to leave this place behind. You have to. And as the ship turns southward, the mountains fall away beneath you, begin to shrink in the distance. Ahead, the southern horizon stretches out endlessly, a vast expanse of unknown possibilities. The sky ahead is clearer. Winds carrying you towards something new, something away from the shadows of the mountains and the horrors that you experienced. There's no certainty about what lies ahead, just a need to move forward together that drives you. Whatever waits, we'll see in the future. That's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. I very much appreciate everyone, all of you at my table. You are amazing. Love all of you. Hope you enjoyed tonight's session. And all of the viewers, all of the raids, you guys are awesome. Thanks for all of that.